And then finally, Damon Jones, former NBA assistant and player, would be giving people information allegedly about the teams that he was an assistant coach for. We're on a Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hey, by the way, player X probably not playing tomorrow night, so you may want to bet a lot on that one against us. That is kind of the summary and recap of some of it. Anything I missed here? I mean, there's pages of indictments, but anything I missed in terms of the setup here?
No, you did a great job summarizing.
Thank you. That wasn't fishing for compliments. I do normally do that, but that wasn't in this case.
But there's a lot of information. There's a lot of tentacles to this, and I thought that was a very good summary, Evan. Way to go. Proud of you.
Thank you. Now I am fishing for the compliment. Now this is a point of this that is really confusing for me because of the NBA, which is not a legal organization. Not an investigative organization. It's not in the government. It's not by law, right? But they have investigations. Brian Windhorst, senior NBA insider, I was on the Rich Eisen show, noon until 3 Eastern here on ESPN Radio, and gave us pretty unbelievable information that the NBA had on Terry Rozier.
The NBA at some point is going to have to explain why Terry Rozier was allowed to keep playing. And I just want to point something out. Mm-hmm. The sports books caught the irregular betting on Terry Rozier the day it happened, the morning it happened, when all of a sudden there was hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in on Terry Rozier unders for a relatively meaningless game in March, mm-hmm. involving the Charlotte Hornets. The sports books caught it. They told the NBA right away, and guess what? The NBA, Rozier didn't play the rest of the season, and he had faked the injury, so it wasn't because of the injury. The NBA pulled them. They pulled Jonte Porter, too. They flagged Jonte Porter and pulled Jonte Porter. The NBA's, their protection measures, the sportsbook's protection measures, triggered this. They caught it. The issue, I think, is, Jonte Porter, they caught, convicted, and tossed him out of the league within weeks. Rozier didn't. And in this investigation, and I don't know if Terry Rozier is guilty. The NBA obviously didn't feel he was. They wouldn't have let him play.
Okay, so that part is really interesting. They shut him down for a little bit, but then let him play after that. And maybe I'm extra sensitive to this because it's my team, Miami, but I don't understand how you let a player get traded without that information being conveyed to the incoming team.
Well, can you prove that he was a knowing and willing participant in the scheme?
No, they clearly could not.
Because if you can't prove it, then you can't stop it.
Let me answer your question, though. Is the NBA at fault? If we don't know any of what I'm about to ask to be fact, it's in question for me. Does the NBA in that case have a responsibility to let all 30 member institutions, so to speak, know?
No.
If you can't prove it.
If you can't prove it, no, because all of a sudden now you're liable.
And you're directly influencing that player's future and his monetary gain.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and if he's innocent of all this, you could have really messed up his career.
That's called slander.
Okay, so now
you got a big problem on your hands.
Yeah.
What about
but it's a delicate place for them to exist.
Yes.
What about the fact that they chose to investigate, did not find anything enough to penalize, cleared this player, in this case Rozier, and then now the government realized, what the heck did you clear him for? How does that make the
Well, it's not a matter of clearing him. See, that's the part that's tricky, because when people say clear, there's this presumption of innocence. That doesn't mean that Terry Rozier didn't do anything. When you say you cleared him, it just means we can't prove it, and thereby we can't stop you from participating in our league.
Yes, but why is Malik Beasley not in the NBA right now? He has not been cleared by the NBA, to my knowledge.
Well, he's a free agent, right?
But what team would voluntarily?
I understand that, but it's different when you're a free agent versus when you're under contract. If you get terminated without cause because they can't prove that you were involved in the scheme, then all of a sudden the team, the league are liable. But if you're a free agent, we don't have to do a damn thing.
Understood. So let's talk about the Billups part of this. He's the biggest name in this by far.
Mm-hmm. He's a Hall of Famer and an active coach.
What part of the Billups information jumps out at you guys the most? Because there's a lot of allegations around the Hall of Famer.
Well, I don't know if it's a bit of information that pops out the most to me, but it's just kind of the overarching impact that this is going to have on the league moving forward. Because you look at someone like Chauncey Billups, a Hall of Famer, an active NBA coach, and you think, this is someone who very much knows that there's a bright red line. From many angles, he's been told, you cannot do this. And he's not above reproach from this. And if you're the NBA, if you're these other leagues, now all of a sudden you're having to look at this differently. If someone like that can get pulled into something like this, if active players can get pulled into something like this, how do we shape this, or what's the messaging that we have to the people involved in our sport moving forward? Because you brought this up, Cece, yesterday, and it's been rattling around in my head ever since. Gambling is an addiction. And just because someone is a Hall of Famer or an NBA coach or an NBA player that's making millions of dollars and has fame and fortune doesn't mean that they can't get sucked into this too. And if you're Adam Silver and you're the NBA and you've had now multiple instances of people in and around your league being a part of this in different ways, being involved with the mafia, tipping off injuries to bettors to influence.
Right, when you're saying this, is that the this you're referring to?
What?
The addiction part is absolutely, I'm glad you brought that up, something that has to be noted. Fame, fortune, prominence does not protect you from a disease, right?
It doesn't protect you from making bad decisions.
But what you just said is the NBA involved in this, because this is where the gray area is. The poker thing is a bad look if that happened. That doesn't impact games, right? What you're saying is this. I'm taking this, Smalls, and I'd like you to elaborate more on this, as the tipping off of, I'm going to use a name. Dame's not playing tonight.
Yeah.
Because I think that is the name.
That's the big one. That's when you start to get into the conspiracy and wire fraud, which is what carries the heaviest charges when it comes to illegal gambling activity. And so I'm with you, Smalls. Like, there are so many people that have sensitive information that can be used to gain an unfair advantage when it comes to sports wagering. And if you're the NBA, how do you protect against that happening in your sport, especially knowing that gambling is becoming increasingly more pervasive, which means it's becoming more competitive because there are more people in the marketplace? I'm just...
Would you eliminate prop bets?
Well, I don't, well, first of all, I don't know that you can. As an NBA, you can't do that.
So you're going to
become a conversation.
You're going to tell these sports books that they can't have prop bets? I mean, listen, I understand the NBA is big business, but it's not as big as gambling. So I don't know.
It influences everything.
I don't know if NBA is going to be dictating to what these sports books can do. I guess my whole point, though, Ev, when it comes to the inside information aspect of it is because you have so many people involved, and because of what you said with gambling being an addiction and a disease, I don't know how you guard against it, even if you levy heavy penalties, significant discipline toward the bad actors that are in your sport doing these illegal activities. I don't know that happens. Even with the timing of the